Well, it looks like we're live. I'm trying different things with this lighting. It just isn't really working out. How about this up here? Maybe this will work. Not working either. Yeah, well, that's kind of working. Now we got this cord in the way. Can we get that somehow out of the way? I don't know. Is that any better? Does anybody really care? No. One of the channel members gave me that light and said I needed to work on that. So anyway, yeah. Well, this is just a little impromptu thing. You know, I don't never really publicize that I'm going to go live. I just go live. Looks like we got one person in there. So hello to Lars, LP94. So I'm glad that you're in here. He's probably out doing his deliveries and cruising along with us. So I will try to read everybody's questions today because I know a lot of you listen, like most lives, everybody listens to them usually afterwards, or like in LP's instance, I'm sure he's not watching his camera while he's driving, or at least I hope not. So anyway, lots to do today. I'm trying to get stuff ready for the No Name Nationals. I have made an executive decision. Well, Fred's going to go too, but we are going to take the Dodge. I'm just going to bite the bullet, strap it on the back of that tow dolly, and if it craps out on the way to Sikeston, well, I guess I just won't make it to the No Name Nationals. So, or I'll be late. I don't know. So a question for everybody is, when is everybody leaving? Because I'm going to leave here and drive south of here to my son's house, and then we're going to leave his house probably around 10 a.m. next Wednesday. So, and we are going to take the interstate. I figure that we'll have to drive slow, but everybody can just pass us. But I figure it'll be easier if I have to have something towed. It'll be easier for somebody to find me if I'm on the interstate. So we will be driving Interstate 64 over to Interstate 57, and it's around Mount Vernon, Illinois, and then we'll get on 57 going south. We're going to try to meet up with Jason from Indirect Connections, probably at the there's a big it's not a Flying J, I don't remember what brand truck stop it is, but there's a pretty good size one once you get a little bit south. So you guys are so LP94 says we are leaving Tuesday night. Okay, so you'll already be there by the time we get there. Save us a spot, you know. Because we'll have 3 vehicles this year, and my tent, and I don't know, it's craziness, I guess, to take it all. But I figure if something breaks down, at least I'll have a backup. Maybe I don't know. And we'll have the tow dolly still. Surely, unless it breaks down, it breaks an axle or something like that, we can tow whatever ain't running home. Maybe I don't know. Anyway, we got lots to do today. I'm trying to get my toolboxes ready here. And you can see Fred sitting there. I got him out because we need to change his shirt. His shirt is 2 years old, so he needs to get updated to a new shirt. So we're going to put a new shirt on him today. And I hope that's, I marked this not for kids because, I knew I'd be dressing him. So, anyway, that's just kind of stupid. But okay. Well, I'll keep a monitor here. You guys ask away. So like I said, Zach Campbell is in there. What up? What up? Well, I'll tell you what up is we're getting stuff ready for the No Name Nationals. We leave next Wednesday morning. And Fred needs a new t-shirt. That's one thing we got to do today, to get the toolboxes together. So that's what's up. If you don't know, Zach is a good friend, and he has supported the YouTube channel for many years now. And He's also my go-to for all my IT problems because, you know, I'm old and computer stuff is way past me. But I will tell you this. I am getting a new camera, and I also got some wireless microphones now that I'm going to be using. And I've had them for almost a year. And I sat down last night or yesterday afternoon, and it took me 2.5 hours, but I figured out how to use them. So that's awesome. So we're going to start using that on our videos. Zach says, is that crane or bulldozer you bought there behind your truck? Yeah, well, so for those of you who don't know, they're digging up the road out in front. They're actually not working in front of the house today. They're working 2 blocks down, so all the noise is down there. Because usually it's so noisy out here you can't film. But yeah, no, that's not the newest project. But I will tell you, I looked at some couple of projects yesterday, but I don't think I'm going to buy them. They were 4-wheel drive Ford trucks. One was a 78, and it was a true 78 because it had the round headlights. One was a 79 Ford Bronco. It doesn't have a title. It's pretty much stripped. And the other one is probably, I think it's an 89 or a 90 Ford pickup, 4-wheel drive. All of it's for sale. I'm going to pass on it, on the trucks. But one of the things they did have there was an antique power plant. So the guy is going to get back with me. He doesn't know about selling that yet. So, but he's trying to get everything cleared out of this property. And I was interested in that for sure. So we'll see. It'd be cool to have. It's a big power plant on 4 wheels that you pull behind the vehicle. It's kind of a step down from what I remember having power plants in the military. But it's definitely, it's a 4-cylinder, you know, got a big generator on it. So, you know, we can always use that. I like things that burn gas, and especially if they smoke. So, so yeah, let's just get right to it here. Ouch. Oh. Get up there and sit down. I don't think this comes off. Oh, yeah, maybe it does. You need a different hat, too. All right, let's see here. Now, this old shirt, this shirt's a couple of years old. And for those of you who don't remember, the caricature that's on there was done by Arrows. He's got a YouTube channel if you guys don't watch him. And I don't know if he's coming to the nonamenationals this year. He came the first year, but I don't think he's come after that. I don't remember. And this is the 4th annual. But anyway, he designed this caricature, and Zach, who's in the live here, helped get it on a PDF or whatever it's called so I could get it to the printer. So if you've got one of these, I don't have any of them left. This is the last one, and it's pretty, you know, pretty rugged. What size is this? So it's a 2XL. So I don't know. I've got an XL one here for him. He may have to go on a diet to get that fit on there. I don't know. We'll see. He's got a pretty big chest. I don't think that's from lifting weights. I think that's oh yeah, there's one there. If you don't know where to get your t-shirts, you can go to shop RCindustry.com and you can buy your hats like this. And I'm assuming this guy's got his shirts on there. I don't know. But you can definitely get your t-shirts. They come in 3 colors. So after this year, we're probably going to get a little updated logo. So keep that in mind. If you want one of these shirts, they may not be long coming yet. they may not be long in the printing world. I don't know. Got to talk with Tony from Tony's Hot Rod Garage. He also has Gunslinger Graphics. That's where I have these made at. And he does an awesome job. So there's a lot of YouTubers that have their shirts made by him. And I've had nothing but good luck with his product. So. All right, so there we go. He's got his new shirt on. Fits pretty good. All right. There's Jim from Jim's Fastback Garage. I've got your shirts, he says. Well, thank you, Jim. Yeah, that'll be cool. I can't wait. Since you just now kind of joined the live or joined in here, I will let you know that I have made an executive decision. I am taking the Dodge to the No Name Nationals. I'm going to strap it on the back of that tow dolly that I built with parts, and I put a transmission cooler on the Chevy, and I'm going for it. I figure I can drive 50, 55 miles an hour. That's fast enough, and you know, I don't want to drive much faster than that anyway, because Eric's driving his Dodge, that 250 or D200, and his truck, you know, it's old, and that 318's old, and we don't really want to drive it any faster than about 55 anyway, so we should be doing good. Jim says you'll get there. Well, I sure hope so, because I hate to miss out on the No Name Nationals. But you know, we'll be driving Interstate 64 over to Mount Vernon, Illinois, and then hanging a left going south, and we will be on Interstate 57 at that point. So, excuse me, I gotta blow my nose. So, if you see us broke down somewhere, you know, if you can't stop, at least wave as you go by. So, yeah, send for help or something. I don't know. All right. Cool. Oh, and the other thing I'm going to do with him, so, you know, the truck sets up on those ramps. So I'm going to put him in the driver's seat, and his hands will kind of grip the steering wheel by the way they're made. So I'm going to put his hands up on the wheel, and I figured the cops will probably pull me over, but you know. And I've got a wig to put on him. He's going full Indian look this year, since, you know, I'm part Cherokee. I think he needs to kind of look that way too. So we're going to put that on him. Let me get that. He used to wear this. So we're going to put this back on him again and find the front. Look at this. Ugh. Now, let's get this hat put back on here. All right, I'm going to get it. So Jim, there's Curtis Canary. He says hello from northern central Kentucky or whatever. Yeah, hello, Curtis. So Jim from Jim's Fastback Garage says his great grandmother was Cherokee. Well, it was my great grandmother that was Cherokee. She was, her descendants were part of the Trail of Tears. And when they was marching them people to Oklahoma, her and some of her family members snuck off and got away. And they wound up in Clayton, Ohio, which is where my mom's side of the family is all from, Clayton, Ohio. That's where they settled when they came to the new country, because they were Seventh-day Adventists, and they kicked them out. Of course, England didn't want them over there, so they moved here. Long story short, they kind of migrated to Morgan County, Indiana, up in that area. Of course, it was all, when I was a kid, a lot of that was still, country up there. Now it's just all, city. But anyway, yeah, my great grandmother, she had a totem pole in her yard. That was a statement back then, I guess. So anyway, yeah, interesting stuff. LP, old Fred going into the witness protection program again. Yeah, we got to get it. Got to get his hair braided up here for a braid. But yeah, I don't know how to do that, but we'll figure it out. Okay, so Big Mike from Big Mike's Hoopty Barn says, good morning. Well, good morning, sir. I just got through watching your latest video, I think, where you finally gave up for a little bit and cleaned up the shop. I know how that is. I get so much stuff stacked around in here, and then I can't do anything because I don't have much room in here anyway. And so Jim says, good morning to Big Mike. Jim Spassback Grad says, that's funny, LP. Yeah, well, witness protection program. Well, he's changed clothes, he's got his dark glasses on and stuff. So LP says, hi, howdy to Big Mike. And Big Mike says, howdy to LP. And Jim's Fastback Garage says, hello to Canary's Hot Rod Garage. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Curtis was on Power Tour this year. I don't remember. He can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm not thinking he was. I think that's when he was moving into his new shop. So you probably didn't meet him up in Indy, because he would have been there, I would have said hi to him if I could have found him. I mean, it's crazy how many people are up there. But Curtis has been a long time supporter of the channel as well. He's been up here back early on when I first got the Chevy and was trying to help me get it running. And it had so many problems all at once. It had a bad lobe on the camshaft. And once I replaced that and put it back together, then I messed up putting the intake manifold on it. So it had an internal vacuum leak that I couldn't diagnose because I had a bad carburetor. So finally, I swapped around on those old Quadrajets or whatever comes on them things. Couldn't find one of those good. So I bought the Holly and put on it. That solved some of the problem, but then I was able to narrow down. So I had to pull the intake manifold back off. It's been quite a job. So, but runs great now. Curtis says he didn't make it this year, but trying for next year for sure. Yeah, I've been in talks with Rick, that friend of mine that has I call it a green/yellow Duster. It's a 1-year color for that Mopar color, and I can't remember the name of it. But anyway, him and I are talking about maybe doing the whole tour this year coming up, this next one in 2026. So we do the whole week. Actually, it'd be more than a week, because it'll be a day's drive for us to get to where it starts. If it starts up in Ohio, like usually it starts where it left off. So with that said, if we do that, we're going to try to see if we can get more people to go with us, like a big caravan. I think it'd be great. He doesn't have a YouTube channel, but I do. And so anybody else that wants to, ride along, that would be great. I've talked with Jack down at It'll Run channel. Jack is the one that put the clutch in the truck for me. And he'd like to go, but he's just starting a new job. So, whether he'll be able to get off next summer or not, I don't know. So, all right. Big Mike's Hoopty Barn. Today, I'm replacing the hitch on the Hoopty trailer. It's bad video later today. Oh, it's bad. Wow. Yeah, well, I was telling everybody before you got in here that I've made the executive decision. I am going to take that to the No Name Nationals. I'm going to strap it on the back of that dolly I pieced together out of old junk dollies. And I'm just going to drag her down the interstate. And as far as I can get it anyway. I think it'll be okay. But I've got new tires on the trailer. I bought Series D tires. They're supposed to be rated for 2,700 pounds if you air them up to 65 psi. So that's what I'm going to do. And I replaced the bearings and all that stuff. And I figured I'll pull it, 50 miles or so if it lasts that long. And I'll get out and check and make sure, so that it's not getting hot. Okay. Jim's Fastback Garage. Is Jack going to the No Name Nationals? No, he is not. He is planning on going next year. He had a video out last week that said that he wasn't going to go this year, but he was planning for next year. He's doing some work to his, I think it's a 68 Torino. Is that right? Or yeah, 68. I think. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, he's doing some work to that and wants to take it down to the track. So I think he's going to pull it down there on his trailer or his dad's trailer or grandpa's trailer or whatever. But yeah, if you don't watch his channel, I mean, you ought to get over there and watch his channel because he's got a lot of cool stuff. He's got a series on that, his grandpa's Ford pickup. I'm going to say it's a 76. I don't remember exactly, but it's got some, it's a good video. I enjoy it. He's kind of got a knack for videos anyway, I think. So I did want to tell everybody that if you haven't seen the post, we are fully monetized now. So that may mean during watching this, you're going to have to watch some commercials. So, I mean, it is what it is, I guess. But anyway, if you're experiencing that, or I think you actually probably experience that anyway, unless you pay for the subscription to YouTube, which I do, because I get free music and I get up to 4 of my devices get my YouTube, and I don't have to watch any ads. So unless you're like that, you've probably been watching the ads anyway. But I guess what I'm getting at is now I'm getting a percentage of those ads. So thanks to everybody for watching, because you watching the channel has got the watch hours up there. And, yeah, now I've got people texting me all the time wanting me to do videos for them and, try to push their merch on my channel. So far, I haven't, other than a year or so ago when I did that one for that little handheld charger thing. That's a pretty good product. I really like that little thing. That lithium battery I'm kind of scared of, but hey, I mean, I guess if it catches on fire, I don't know, But anyway, the rest of the stuff that people have been reaching out to me for is things that I don't really think need to be associated with the channel, and or they're products that I wouldn't never use anyway. So you may see some of that in the future on the channel. I don't know. I'm just trying to pay for some of, what we do here. Because if what it's like to, every time you turn around, it's another $50 at the parts store, or even if you go to the junkyard, it's another $50. So pretty soon that all adds up, One of the reasons I'm selling the Dodge is because, which you see the for sale sign there, I've got it listed on Marketplace. But one of the reasons I'm selling that is because I want to buy another project. Actually, I've kind of got my eyes on 2 different projects. But if I can get this sold, I should be able to buy those. And then the little bit of money that's trickling in from this channel and all your guys' and gals' support can help pay for that. So anyway, let's get Fred. Oh, I got to get something on his hair. Ah, here it is. It's behind the camera. I don't know how to braid this, so he's just going to have to go like this. There. Yeah, Fred's kind of fun. I take him to the car shows, and the kids, they get they get a big kick out of him. We were on Dragon Main last Saturday, which that video won't come out for a while, but there was people walking by on the street. He was sitting in the passenger side, and I was parked on the in the parking on Main Street, and people were walking by and staring, and the little kids were, the parents would be like, "You want to talk to him?" No, I'm scared. So, all right, Big Mike. Well, I just stopped in for a few minutes before I get to work in the shop. Y'all have a great day. Thank you for stopping in, Big Mike, and express to your son our gratitude for his service in the military. I'm a vet myself, and so all the folks that go into the military, I have a special thing in my heart and prayers for them. So anyway, that's enough said, I guess. But yeah, we'll see you at the No Name Nationals. Sounds great. He says he will do. All right, good deal. Well, Fred, it's time for you to get back in the truck. Okay. Throw that out. Okay, so this is my little jump box that I was talking about a while ago. I think I might have referred to it as a battery charger. That is not what it is. But it will jump a dead battery. And it's just pretty cool, actually. I think if you go back and watch the video where I reviewed this, there is a code, and I don't remember what it is now. I'd have to go back and look at it myself. If you use that code when you order this, you will get so and so much off. And I actually get a little something out of that too. So anyway, you can do that if you'd like, but you do not have to. So I'm going to go plug this in back here, and we'll go from there. So that thing was just down one bar on the charge thing, and that hasn't been charged for a couple of months, and I used it to jump the Mama RC's van because the alternator went out of it, so I had to jump that thing and get it into the garage, charge the battery up with it, but I didn't charge that thing. So it used, I guess a quarter of the power in it to do that with. So it kind of gives you an idea how many you can jump with it, I guess. Plus, I don't know if it sets for a long time, if the battery loses some. I mean, I don't really know how all that works. But anyway, it's pretty amazing that it works at all, I think. So, and let's see. This is stuff that's still in here from last year. I'm going to take these books along because if something breaks down there, I'm sure that there's way more people than me that knows how to fix things. But, if there's a question and, you ain't got no internet to look it up on Mr. Google, then at least you got the book. So, I'm going to try to condense all this in one toolbox, I think. I don't know. That one's pretty full. Yeah, everybody ought to have those. Actually, pretty handy. Those are screws. Let's see here. There's some drill bits. One, anyway. One drill bit. That's something I wanted to get out today and maybe sharpen is my drill bits, because since we're taking the generator, I'm going to take the my little drill, and then we can use it if we need to, and we can charge the batteries for the cordless drills and stuff like that. So, there's a whole bunch of drill bits down in here. They've all spilled out, of course. There's a spring, I'll tell you. That's probably, it's no throttle spring, that's probably a brake spring, I guess. There you go. That's one of them universal ones there. Clamp her down and you can turn it, and it's all kinds of good stuff. Okay, so Rex Marlowe wants to know, what type of RCs are you into? Okay, so RC is my name. So this is a car channel. We don't do the remote control car stuff. I think that's cool if you're into that, but that is not what we do here. But thanks for coming on and joining in. You don't never know something if you don't ask. So I haven't cleaned this toolbox out in years, so it's got way too much junk in it. Here's some gasket sealer. Now you just don't see that every day. Somewhere right there. Yeah, this is from Napa Tools. BK gasket sealer. All right. One of them giant brake springs. Cool for doing your chainsaw. So Jim from Jim's Fastback Garage says, I have an associated RC10 modified conversion. Okay, well, there you go. Yeah. I don't know what that is, but I'm assuming it has something to do with remote control cars. I'm guessing. Okay. Let's see what kind of screws are in here. Yeah, well, yeah, I don't know. I might leave that in there. Let's see. I actually got brake springs and stuff back here. we're going to take this along too. This is some extra brake parts for the Dodge. An extra wheel cylinder and a set of shoes and stuff. Because the one side, the passenger side on the back, wasn't anything wrong with it. The other side was what messed up. Oh, he's into RC or to remote control planes. They're really cool if you have seen them. Well, I have seen them. We actually have a remote control airplane airport south of here, about 35 minutes. And so I actually have been down there and watched some of that stuff. It's amazing. Now, when I was a kid, you know, we're talking 55 years ago, we flew model airplanes, but they were all on guide wire. And you could move the ailerons by kind of doing this. And so that's the only kind of remote control plane that I have ever flown. And that has been a month of Sundays ago. And I always thought that was pretty cool. My dad was really into it, and he, when he was a kid, and he's the one that, you know, kind of got me interested in it. And but so many things happen when you're a kid like that. I mean, I was into that for just a little while, and then it was off to something else. So that's pretty typical, I think. Put that in there. Okay. And my phone's sitting over there going crazy. So, is anybody bringing their guitars down to the No Name Nationals? Oh, DG Outdoor Channel is on here. He is one of the members of the channel. Hello, everybody. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. If you're into hunting and shooting, and I mean, this guy goes out and kills it and cooks it. I mean, it's a pretty good little channel. If you're into that kind of thing, I tend to buy my meat anymore. Haven't hunted for years, but I'm not opposed to it. That's for sure. And I'm prepared to do it to survive. But currently, I just go up to the Amish country and buy my meat. So this is telling me that RC is live. Well, I knew that. Okay. Well. So Jim's Fastback Garage says, I tried airplanes and gave up after 1 year. Okay. That's pretty funny. I would think it would be an expensive hobby, but, you know, I guess so is this. You know. All right. That's a good pair of lineman's pliers. I actually need to put those over here. We'll just replace them for these side tails. Let's see here. Well, that's a little sharp duker there. Not really sure what we would use that for. I will stick this in the glove box of the Chevy, and I'll tell you why. So Chevy, the carburetor on the Chevy has its own return spring built onto it. And then there is the spring that's on there, the return spring, in case that one fails. Well, last year, Tech made me put a secondary spring on, so I'm going to throw that in there because we may need that. So RX Marlowe says every hobby does come with a price. Yeah, that's for sure. But the joy it gives is worth it. I would agree with that. And then DG Outdoor Channel says any hobby can get expensive. That is true. That is quite true. That's kind of why I'm very thankful that we're finally, after 17 years, we're monetize, and so a little bit of money trickles in from YouTube to help pay for my hobby. I mean, because that's what it is. So remember, when you're down at the No Name Nationals or anytime you see me out, if you say hi and say, hey, you got any stickers? Remind me by saying that, because sometimes I forget. And we'll be sure and get you some stickers. RX Marlowe, yes. And it is never enough. You will always want new tools and different models to work on. Well, that's true. Here, I try to drag in junk trucks or cars that are destined to be thrown away and make them run again. That's kind of my goal. I know a lot of YouTube channels are that way, so I'm not doing anything any different than anybody else does. But, you know, one saved at a time is about all you can do. Or at least for me, anyway. My biggest thing is I don't have any place to keep this stuff. Most of my neighbors are pretty forgiving, but I have a couple that aren't. And so we don't have a HOA here, thank God. But we do have Mrs. Kravis that lives next door, and so she continually calls her friend at the city. So RX Marlowe says it's hard finding parts for the older trucks. It is, and you know, because junkyards pretty much don't exist, at least in my area. And so we do have a gentleman kind of southeast of here that has a giant junkyard of old stuff like this, but he's older than me and his kids don't want to take it over. So I just figure anytime, you know, they're going to get all bailed up because he's not been successful in trying to find anybody that will take over, you know, his business. So, yeah. So, you know, possibly another one will bite the dust, you know. This stuff doesn't even go in here. All right. There's some easy outs. Feller always needs some of them. There's a tap. There you go. Not too many people know what that is, but you always need one, or you could always need one. Out of all of that, that's the only wrenches in here. A 13 and a 12 and a 5/8 box end. Okay, well, I guess that's the start. Good thing I'm going through this. We might need some different tools than that. There's a feeler gauge. Feller always needs one of them. These are like sockets. Okay, so here's a 12-point socket, but see the back of it. I don't know if you can tell on the camera, but back of that is like a hex or a Allen wrench. And I remember my dad having a ratchet, and in fact, I may have it here somewhere that actually snaps onto those type of sockets. I don't know, you know, if this has got a name on it. 9-16 is all it says. So anyway, interesting. Now here's several of them actually. So these are probably the sockets for that ratchet that I've got that I don't know where it's at right now. So I need to find that. There's an ice pick. Filler always needs one of them. Usually an ice pick for. They're probably called an all, actually. So let me get caught up here. It's finding hard to parts the truck. So RX Marvel also says, was just going to ask where here. I am there in many pick and pulls. If you have heard of those, are huge. Yeah, we used to have a pick and pull. I mean, actually, we do have one in the Evansville area, but it's all late model stuff. I'm northeast of Evansville, Indiana. Every time I go to the junkyard, there are so many classic nostalgic cars being left behind. This will soon be extinct. Well, that's yeah, that's for sure. That is for sure. Right. That is a 3/8. That's quarter. I don't have a quarter inch. Oh, those are 3/8. Okay, well that's good. 3/8. So it's that. So it's that. These are all metrics, deep wells. No, they're not. Some of them are standard. Okay. Well, there's a good soap pencil. Those are always handy. So DGA Outdoor Channel wants to know when and where is the No Name Nationals? Okay, it's at Skelton Raceway, and the address is Sikeston, Missouri for the raceway. It's actually closer to the little community of Minor, but that is not their mailing address. So it's in Sikeston, Missouri. If you're on Interstate 57 going south, you're going to drive right by it because the interstate is literally like from here to the road over there. So, or the street in front of my house. So, and when is it? Well, it is, let me look at the calendar. I want to get the date right. So it's the 18th, 19th, and 20th. 18th is Tech Day, and anybody that's going to be there as a YouTube channel, that's Tech Day. And then the 19th, Friday, and Saturday is Race Day. Open. It's not open for racing to the public, but it's open for the public to be there to meet all of your stars from the YouTube world. So anyway, yes. So it is September. So I'm going to say that it is September 18th through the 20th. Sikeston, Missouri. Come down. Friday night is the burnout contest. It usually starts around dark. So I'm going to say 7 o'clock time frame because they're an hour ahead of us here. I don't know. Local time, probably around 7 o'clock, I'm guessing, on Friday night. And there's burnout contests. And I know that there's several YouTube channels that go around to burnout contests, these big ones, and they're, sponsor-led stuff. That's not what this is. I consider this a real burnout contest for people like us that have vehicles. I mean, I'm not going to be in it, but this is the real deal. This is kind of like stock car racing was before NASCAR took over. I mean, it's good, in my opinion. Now, a lot of people like NASCAR. I'm not dissing it. It's just that I remember when I was a kid and my uncles raced, things were a lot different in the 60s than they are today with stock car racing. So that's kind of what I was getting at. This burnout contest is really cool. So it's worth just paying that day's admission just to watch that. So you won't find a better one anywhere. Okay. Right. Let's get an idea. Now that is an old screwdriver. I have no idea where that came from, but it's here. Going to be sure to take my test light and my multimeter along with me. One never knows when one might need that. So Curtis from Canary's Hot Rod Garage says, we have one left. Pick and pull. Close by that still has a few old rides. Oh, really? Cool. Just brought me home a 56 International truck 2 days ago. A new rat rod to be born. Oh, yeah. Well, Curtis has a hot rod channel, a YouTube channel as well. So he doesn't have many videos on there, but he does have a video of his International rat rod. It's like an International truck. Part of it is, it's a rat rod. So I think it's got some Volkswagen fenders and just lots of cool things in it. And I've got some video footage of him doing some burnout stuff coming up in I don't know how many weeks, because I'm behind on my videos. Well, I'm not behind on them, but I have videotaped way ahead. And so the event I was at Saturday, Drags on Main, I got a couple of really good things with him doing a burnout. So DG Outdoor Channel, got any local car shows coming up? Well, I'm going to be gone next week, to the No Name Nationals. And then after that, the Saturday I get back, I think is when we have, that may be the drag or the car show, I'm sorry, at Wagler's. I would have to look. I don't have my calendar of events in front of me. So I know that's coming up. If it's not the weekend after I get back, it's close. And I'm going to go up to that one, because when you are at that car show, you get the opportunity to do a test and tune on the track. So I want to definitely do that. So that one's coming up. Wagler Raceway is in Lyons, Indiana. So that should be fairly close to where you're at. Well, I don't really know where you're at, but I know it's fairly close to Coal City, Indiana, and that's kind of where I met you. So I'm just assuming you live in that area somewhere. So that is coming up. Then I have a vacation coming up, and I'll be going to Florida for a week. And then I know right before that, there is a car show coming up. And it doesn't do you any good if you don't know where it's at. I can't remember. But I know when I get back from Florida, there is the car show at Bristow, Indiana. Not Bristol, Tennessee, but Bristow, Indiana. And we're going to go there. I think Eric's going to go too. That's on a Sunday. It's a huge show. Curtis Canary can tell you that it's a big show. I plan on taking both of my trucks, if I still have the Dodge, if it hasn't sold, and Rick with his Duster will be there. I'm sure Curtis will be there, and all his buddies with their rat rods. His wife's got Curtis's wife's got a beautiful truck, so they may have that there too. I'm not kidding you. I'm going to guess they have this cornfield in this little town that they kind of mow off, or cut it down so you can have good access to it, and they fill that thing up. And I'm going to guess that's at least a 20-acre field plus the ballpark that's there at the community center. I mean, it's a big show. There'll be hundreds of cars there, or generally there always is. So we will be at that one. That's a big one. And then probably the last show of the year will be down at Tell City. Excuse me a minute, my allergies are. So that probably the first part of November will be the Veterans Car Show down at Tell City. And it's usually around the courthouse, the new courthouse, not the old courthouse downtown, but the new courthouse for Spencer County. So, which is on the north side of town. But anyway, that is a great car show. So they raise money for the homeless veterans. And so we will definitely be at that one. That's probably the last show of the year in this area that I'm planning on going to. Now, that doesn't mean that I won't pop up somewhere. And I know that I'm going to try to get to Speed's Raceway yet this season. They race on Saturday nights, and that is up. Well, it's close to New Hope. It's New Hope, Indiana. So it's kind of out in the middle of nowhere, which is cool. And that track's been around since I was a kid. Now, it went dormant or, was closed down and derelict for probably 20 years. But this family has bought it, and it's a cash-only place. I would consider it an outlaw track. They kind of just have their own rules. And so we're going to definitely go up there at some point this year as well. So there's a lot of car stuff like that coming up. And then that's going to put us into, cold weather. And by that time, we should have a new project we're working on for the following year's No Name Nationals, or possibly the duct tape drags, or possibly both. Dalton has reached out to me from Pole Barn Garage, and I possibly will go on the Poverty Tour 2026 with them, and that starts in Joplin, Missouri, and they work their way all the way down to Arizona for the duct tape drags. Now, I probably wouldn't participate in the duct tape drags, but it would be kind of cool to go along and see everything. I mean, that's a big event. It's just so far for me to drive. I mean, we're talking, 1,000 miles. So I don't know. I'm one way. So, well, actually, it's probably 1,000 miles from Joplin. I got to get to Joplin first, so that's even more. But DG's Outdoor Channel. I know where Lyons is. I've been there before. Okay, cool. And he also says, I also know where New Hope is. Okay, I figured those ought to be up in your area. That New Hope track, I'm excited about going to that one simply because it's a mom and pop track and, family owned. Well, Wagler's is too, but Wagler's is a big track. I mean, I think they're NHRA certified, so they bring in big racing stuff there. New Hope's just more of, stuff that I would feel more comfortable racing in, I think. So, yes. So Curtis Canary says, I'll be at Bristow. That's a great show. That is correct. It is a great show. I didn't get to go last year because our vacation plans kind of got moved around. We had to make the one part because we went out to Arizona and Nevada and Utah and made a big loop. And with the way we had to book stuff, I wasn't able to go. The day we were driving home was the day of the show. This year, I made sure that my event coordinator, which is my wife, I told her, I said, I want to go to Bristow, so make sure we're home in time for that. So, so we're going to be home just in time for me to get out of one vehicle and get in the other one and drive it down there, but we'll be there. So, All right, what else we got to take? I got to get a few more tools together. We got to take our drill gun, and I've got an adapter for 3/8 drive and 1/4-inch drive sockets. So we got to take that. Got to take our tripod along. I'm sure we'll be doing some recording. And I got the generator sitting over here. That'll go in the back of the truck. Let's see what else we got to take. Since I can't never get down to old JB's shop with my drill bits, I picked this up at the garage sale. This is an antique Sears drill bit sharpener. Drill bit grinding attachment, it says. So I don't know how you use it, but we're going to try to figure it out so I can sharpen some of these drill bits, because these things are terrible. Terrible. I'm just going to throw these in the truck just because they don't really fit anything that I've got that I know of. They might fit the Chevy, but they were not the right. The part number is correct for the Dodge, but they wouldn't fit in there. So went and got another brand with the same reference part number, and they fit. So you figure it out. I can't. But I'm going to take them with me because somebody might need them, you know. And then this is the relay that I got to get in the Dodge so the fog lights will work. And this is the badge that goes on the back. So the little tits are all broke off of it. That's why it's off of there. So I'm going to do the right thing, and like I did with the Dodge emblems up on the front, and just hot glue them on there. It'll stick. So I got to get that done. May do that today yet. Kent and Jody are coming down from Drunken Mutt channel, or he's got 2 channels. I can't remember the other one. Ain't that awful? But they're coming down this afternoon to pick pears, because the pears are ready. That big tree right there. So I've picked everything low, so I'm going to make him pick high, and want to get all the pears off of it, because we're right in the middle of canning apples. And tomorrow all day I'll be making applesauce, and then we're going to start on the pears. I got to get all that done before I go to the No Name Nationals next Wednesday. So yeah, it's going to be busy. Kim fixes things. Dull bits are terrible. I agree. Well, thank you, Kim, for coming in. I appreciate that. Can't wait to see you. I think I have a jump drive that belongs to you that I want to be sure and get to you. Pay no attention to my lousy lighting on my lives. I'm trying some different things to help that out. But thanks for coming aboard. DG Outdoor Garage Channel says, ever since you did your truck hauler video, I've been seeing quite a few around. You know, that's funny you say that. So that must be how the algorithms work, because ever since I posted mine, now I see everybody's got one. So it's kind of interesting. So Kim fixes thing. Pears are amazing. Well, if you want some, I will bring you some. These type of pears that I have, they're the old-fashioned pears. So they're kind of big and ugly. And you pick them. This is the time of year you pick them, and you let them sit for like a month, and then they're ready to eat. So if you want some, I'll bring you some. Kim fixes things. I forgive the lighting. Thank you. If you don't watch Kim and Buff Del Campo's, they both got channels, and I'm not sure which one does the live. I think it must be Buff Del Campo channel, but Kim has got a great setup. I mean, they got lighting, and I mean, it's like watching something professional. It really is. I don't get a chance to watch their lives too often when they're actually live. I watch them afterwards, like the next day or something, or sometimes I just turn them on and listen to it. That's kind of the way I do a lot of the live channels. So that's why today I'm trying to read everybody's questions, so if people are just listening that they can hear it. So, but if you haven't went over there, go check out her channel, which is Kim Fixes Things, and Buff Del Campo's channel is called Buff Del Campo, I think. So Jim's Fastback Gross says hello, Kim. So Kim, if you're still in there, let me ask you, when are you guys headed to the No Name Nationals? That was a question I asked everybody early on in the video today. We are leaving Wednesday, 10-ish a.m. I'm going to leave here about 9, and I have made the executive decision. I'm dragging that thing behind that thing with that car dolly. Now, whether we make it, we may break down on the highway. I don't know. That's up to God. But I'm taking a leap of faith, and I'm gonna head out. I put an oil cooler on the Chevy for the transmission, which Buff Del Campo's channel, he did a little short or some kind of a thing about those, talking about how the research that he had done and different things. And so I was like, okay, well, if Buff says it's probably a good idea, I'm going to do it. So I did. So Kim says, we had soft pears where I grew up. You can't buy anything like them at a store. Oh, I would agree with that. Kim also says we should get there Wednesday, but might not even go to the track, maybe straight to the hotel. Well, I think I'm going to try to go to the track Wednesday when we get there to unload the Dodge and the car dolly, and then we're going to go to the hotel too. So I don't know if you guys, I think last year you might have stayed at the hotel next to us. We're going to be staying there in Minor and next to the Mexican restaurant. That's all I'm going to say, because I like to eat there at night. So, and hopefully it's still open. So it's a really good, Mexican restaurants are pretty much all the same, but this one seems to be clean, and that food is good. And anyway, whatever. So hopefully we'll see you guys at some point anyway. Okay, looks like we're still full. If you can see that, probably not. And I say that only because I've driven the truck now about 200 miles on that oil change. And actually, the truck is running better. It seems like the more I drive it, the better it runs. So slant six, you really can't beat them unless they have an issue. This one, the valve tick was really horrendous. So I've adjusted them a couple of times. It seems like every time I do it, it goes away and then it kind of comes back. But you got to also remember that this thing got gas soaked twice. So it has really flushed the system out. So this last time that I changed the oil after the carburetor float did its thing, I changed the oil and let it run a little bit. Well, it was changed, and then we ran it about 50 miles, and then I changed it again. So it's got clean oil in it. I put some seal softener in it for the rear main seal, which is kind of dripping. And I have drove it now, like I said, 100 and almost 200 miles, and we haven't used any oil. But what I was getting at is I went ahead and adjusted the valves again. So now they seem to be holding pretty good. So I don't know if there was just a lot of crap in there, They're not hydraulic lifters, so I wouldn't think, and they all spin, so I don't think the lobes, and but there is a tick in it that I can't get out. So I don't know if it's a wrist pin. It doesn't sound like um, a rod bearing. Those usually, kind of make more on a deceleration kind of thing, more noise. I mean, so I'm not sure, but Kim is a pretty good expert on these slant sixes, and as well as others are. So yeah, so hopefully maybe you can have time to give an ear, listen to this, and kind of give me your opinion. Let's see. Should get there at the trial. See, Kim says, Buff is installing his radio for around town, but do we need to exchange phone numbers? I don't know if I have yours. Well, I have a phone number for you because I have texted you in the past, but it may be a bad number because I have not received anything from you. So, yeah, I what I will do is I will text you to the number I have for you, and so you have my phone number. Let's see. Kim also says slant sixes always make a little noise. Exhaust manifold gaskets make noise as well, and could be that. Well, I would agree with that. So that I mean, we've been through a couple of intakes, several carburetors, exhaust manifolds. This is the third one. This one, and the intake for the 2-barrel carburetor that I put on it from a 90, I think, or a 89. I forget what year it was. Works really good. This one doesn't leak, and I've got a new exhaust system all the way back. It's not leaking. And that's why now I can hear this ticking sound in there that I never could hear before. So your number ends in 81. Well, we'll just look real quick. Let's just see. I know I used to have it. My mother-in-law shared my phone contacts for a while because we were helping her with her plan. That has since stopped, but she was good about deleting all my, I don't know who this person is, and she would delete them. Okay, so let's see here. Yep, I've got your number. I'm texting you right now. There you go. I just sent you a text. You let me know if that's the right number. But yeah, we're going to be taking Interstate 64 because I'm going to take the interstate this year. I'm not going to drive through the country because I don't want to go across those silly, narrow 2-lane bridges down to the Cairo area. Normally, it don't bother me, but that trailer is really wide. I mean, the tires stick out past, the front end of the truck, and so we're going to take the interstate. I'm going to take Interstate 64 south of here. I can get right on the interstate, in 15 minutes from here. And then we're going to take that all the way over to Interstate 57 in the, I think it's Marion, no, it is Mount Vernon, Illinois. And then we'll hang a left, which is south, and we will go down to Sikeston that way. Actually, we're going to Minor, but and you're taking the southern route to avoid Kentucky. Yes, those car haulers are wide. I know. I think you guys have one, actually, if I remember right. So you probably know all about those car haulers. But yeah, and I had to buy, actually, the tray and the axle that I bought is of a really wide one because I've got these wide tires on this Dodge, or, the wide rims that set it out. And most of the car haulers that I could have bought were too narrow and the truck wouldn't fit on them. So I had to buy one that the swivel pan and all that was big enough. And so, yeah, the problem is I really don't know the GVWR for that trailer because there's no information. It's all the axle. There was no kind of identification on it. I kind of think I maybe figured out who manufactured the original parts, but I don't know. I put stuff together and applied for a title as a new vehicle. And so I basically have a 2025 trailer now is what I have, according to the government. So, but I know the tires I bought, they're a D-rated tire. They're supposed to, at 65 pounds, I think the maximum limit is 2,700 or 4,000 for both of them on an axle. I don't think the Mr. Google on the interwebs tells me that truck with a slant six weighs 3,780. And then if you do the calculations by the front end, those only the front end weight, we should be at somewhere around 2,000 pounds on the axle of that trailer. So I don't know. We're going to try it and see what happens. DG Outdoor Channel. Oh, I've also been to the Elnora Tractor Show. You made a video of it's really fun. Yeah. Well, I always go up there every year, and I usually make a long video. Have I put that? You're a member of the channel, so I'd have to look. I can't remember if I've already edited that and put that on the channel. If I have, it doesn't go live for everybody else yet. So I can't remember. Well, I'll just look. But yes, Elnora is cool. This year it was so busy when we were up there. Golf carts were everywhere. I mean, you couldn't hardly walk. Let's see here. Yeah, White River Valley Association. That one comes out September 14th. So it is not out yet. But you've probably seen it because it looks like from the number of watches that all of the members of the channel have already watched it. So, and again, I want to thank all the members of the channel and all the people who just subscribe and support the channel because, as I said earlier, we are fully monetized now. So, little dribs and drabs of money is starting to come in, so I can subsidize paying for all this kind of stuff, and maybe we can start doing some more traveling. I had a great time last year. We went down to Kim and Buff's place and did a video, and I've been out to Micah's place out in eastern western, Kansas this spring. And so, yeah, we met up with Russell from Outfits Garage along the way. And I have relatives out fairly close to where Dalton lives, so I've already been in contact with him. I need to go out and visit some cousins, so I'm probably going to swing by there for a day. So we got trips coming up, and this is going to help pay for all that because I am retired. And let's see. Kim's Fix This Thing says you will be fine with the setup. Dodge, check your straps at least rest stops. Might be a little slow, but I have towed those trucks with other 6-cylinders. Okay, that makes me feel good. I feel better. I was worried about burning the transmission out of the Chevy, but I think now with the transmission cooler, I think I'll feel a little better about that. And we just plan on driving because Eric's going to follow behind me in his 72 D200, and it runs like 55 miles an hour. That's about as fast as you want to drive that truck. So we're not going to be driving more than 50 or 55 on the interstate. I know people will be blowing by us, but that's just too bad. I want to drive the interstate simply because I think it's wider. If I have problems, I can pull off than all the little secondary roads through Kentucky. It's a beautiful drive, but if you have problems, you're way out in the middle of nowhere. At least on the interstate, you can probably get help easier, maybe. So Kim says, congratulations on the monetization. That is amazing. Not easy to get there. No, it's not. Well, I've been playing with this channel for 17 years. Playing has been the word. I've only been real serious about it the last 3 years. And that was because I was gearing down my work to where I could retire. I still have a partial contract that I got to finish up by December 13th, but it's not much. And quite honestly, it's actually, when you slow work down like that, because I work for myself. So it's actually, I get paid, but, by the time I do my insurance and my E&Os and all that stuff I've got to have to work, it's actually costing me money to finish this contract out. So I'm not too worried about it. I'm really enjoying the whole retirement gig, if you will. It gives me more times to do the stuff I want to do, which is play with my trucks. And it also, my wife is retired as well. She's been retired for about 5 years now. So like this summer, for example, she's been able to hang out in the pool all summer. We both have elderly parents that we have to help out some. So that does take some time, but we're able to get away now that I'm not working so much. We're going to be taking a trip to Florida coming up. Is it Florida we're going to? Yeah, Pensacola, I think. I don't remember. Maybe it's Gulf Shores. That's in Alabama. I don't know. We're going somewhere down where the Gulf of America is at. So anyway, with that said, yeah. So I've also bought me some new equipment I mentioned earlier. I'm going to try to make a little video today and test it out. So I bought a wireless microphone because a lot of my videos, I know people are like, your video levels are all over, or audio levels are everywhere. And I try to correct that with my editing software, but it's very tedious. So I did some practice videos yesterday with the wireless microphones that clip on your shirt or wherever. I guess that's where I clipped it anyway. So I'm going to do a video today and post it probably in the next few days, so you guys can tell me what you think about that, whether it's good, bad, or other. So, well, we have been on here now for an hour and 20 minutes. I never thought that I would have bloviated that long. Oh, there's Buff Del Campo. I was just talking about your channel. He says I'm late. Well, that's all right. No problems. You don't have to be late. So Kim says sound is very difficult. We bought a nice set of microphones, but they are often more trouble to use. Well, that's what we're going to find out today with my. What was interesting about it is because I'm still filming with a video with a phone, much like it's an Android phone. It's much like this one. That's the one I use for my phone, and I do video some stuff with that. But the other one is and it didn't have. So I had to upload a program, and I forget what it's called, to make these mics work with that Android phone. That's the easiest way I know how to say it. So when I did that, it has all kinds of settings now for the camera on the phone. One of them being stabilization, which is a problem with, everything moving around like that. And I have a gimbal that works really good, holds the cell phone, that's not a problem. But sometimes the gimbal doesn't last, the battery doesn't last long enough. So now I can set the stabilization on the phone, plus fix it so that if I've got the mics plugged in, that it will use that, or if I don't have it, we'll use the one built into the phone. So we're going to give it a shot today and try to make a video on sharpening drill bits. I don't know how that's going to turn out. Like I said earlier, where's JB when you need him? So yeah, Buff Del Campo. So you missed this earlier. I was talking about I am going to bite the bullet, tow this truck with that truck. And the reason I didn't want to, that I kind of chickened out and didn't want to take the leap of faith of doing it, is because I was afraid of burning the transmission out on the Chevy, because it's got 75,000 miles on it. And, the transmission fluid still looks good. We changed it and did all that stuff last year. But anyway, after I watched your video about transmission coolers, I was like, okay. So you might have saw the post where I posted, it's got a transmission cooler, you can kind of see it through the grill there. And I took it out yesterday and drove it around and took I got an infrared heat. Well, I actually have an infrared camera, but it also shows the temperatures on it. And it's actually cooler. It loops through the radiator first, then out of the radiator, goes up and through the cooler and back. So if you look at the two lines, there's actually a difference from the line coming out of the radiator cooler, and it's lower than the one going in. So it already lowers it a little, and then this thing on the front then lowers it even more. So I was pretty pleased with that. I think maybe we'll be okay. So Kim Fixes Things says, it's good to see you making progress on the channel. Just keep practicing. Yeah, well, that's kind of what it is. And, you know, I don't need another job. I'm retired. So, but it's nice to, you know, little dribs and drabbles that come in. And, you know, I get super chats and all that stuff from people now. And so all that's going back into the channel. And it'll just help us buy more projects. And maybe we can actually buy new parts instead of making do with used stuff. I mean, who knows? I don't foresee us probably doing that since we like to make things like brand new. So, oh yeah, and I am supporting Levi's backyard garage or whatever his. I can't even read it because I can't see it from here. But oh, Levi's Backyard Performance. That's right. Go check out his channel. He'll be at the No Name Nationals. He has a Chevy Laguna. I don't know. I always thought it was a Chevelle Laguna, but Chevy made the Chevelle and the Laguna was a package. I don't know. I don't really know all that stuff. He could tell you all about it. But Kim Fixes says, Dylan at Levi's Performance is good people. Yes, definitely is. And I'm sure his girlfriend or fiance, or I don't think they're married yet. Anyway, I'm sure she will be there. So we'll get to see them again as well. In fact, the first year that I think the first year at the No Name Nationals, I didn't know him and his girlfriend. I didn't know you, and I didn't know Buff. And when we all went to dinner that night, Thursday night at Lambert's, Eric and I got seated with you guys, and we all learned who everybody was. And that's when I found out Buff had been in the Air Force, which I was in the Air Force as well. Anyway, so that's how we met, if you remember. I'm sure you do, but and we've all been, I mean, I think that was I'm hard to get to know people because I'm kind of an introvert, believe it or not. I can perform on stage and I can get in front of the video camera. And something's in I think a bug got in my mouth. But anyway, yeah, so sometimes it's hard for me to just go up to somebody new and start talking to them. But we were forced to, all of us, to get to know each other because we all got seated at the same table. So that was a good thing for me, actually. So Kim says, yeah, fate. I would agree. And Buff says, I remember that night at Lambert's. That's right. Yeah, that was the first time I ever met you guys. And the first time I ever met Levi and what's his girlfriend's name's Clark. No, that's her last name. I can't remember her first name right now, but I'm bad with names. So, but I know her when I see her. So, Brooke, that's right. Buff says her name is Brooke. That's correct. So, yeah. Well, I've been on here an hour and a half. I don't know. I got 5 people still in here, so that's great. And 6 thumbs up. Be sure and like and hit that thumbs up, or I don't know if you have the thumbs down there option, but if you don't like it, you can hit that. And, anyway, I don't know. I need to get busy and finish this up. Some of you that came in late didn't know that I put a new shirt on Fred, because he's going to go along. Actually, I'm going to put him in the driver's seat of the pickup up on the dolly, so it looks like he's driving. That ought to get me a ticket with the cops right away. But I took his old shirt off. If you remember this shirt this was from the second year at the No Name Nationals when I had the LTD. This was the shirt we were supporting that year. And he's been wearing it ever since, and it's all dirty. He doesn't take a bath or anything. He just changes clothes. So anyway, we got him changed over. He's ready to go. I got to finish getting the toolboxes ready. I've got spare tires for the trailer over there. I've got the generator's got to go in the truck. I've got gas for the generator. I got spare parts for all these junk piles. So we'll see. Yeah, Buff says he liked that LTD. Yeah, I did too. Actually, that LTD's for sale again. But parts are just impossible to find for that particular one. Now, if you've got a 2-door hardtop or a 4-door hardtop or a convertible in that year, well, they didn't make the convertible in '76. But so if anything that's the hardtop body style, you can get parts for that. But for some reason, the station wagon and the sedan or the post car, those were built on the same frame as the and set up as the Ranchero of that year. And windshields, for example, they don't even make them anymore. So you have to find one at a junkyard if you can. Parts are just impossible to find, and that's kind of why I got rid of it, because I needed door panels. Dalton had some door panels because he's got a bunch of little LTDs, but he didn't have the right ones for mine, so that didn't work. And yeah, so that's kind of why I got rid of it. So yeah, Buffdale Campbell says carburetor under glass. Yeah. Yeah, I use that clip every once in a while in my videos just because we were starting at that one time and it backfired and the carburetor caught on fire and you could see it through the glass. It's kind of a neat, it's one of them things the camera was rolling and I actually got something cool. So I always try to show that once in a while. But yeah, that LTD was fun. 351 modified, what did it have? 85 horsepower. I don't know, maybe 100 and 120, 35, something like that. Of course, we jacked with the timing a little bit when I put a timing chain in it, and we did some stuff to help it. So I don't really know what it wound up having, but those engines, by the time 76 came around, were so detuned that you just, they were terrible. All right, so Jim's Fastback Garage says, see you all next week. That's right. When are you taking off, Jim? I don't know if I asked you that earlier. We are, like I said earlier, we're leaving Wednesday morning. Well, I'm leaving here around 9 a.m. our time, driving south to my son's house, which is about 10 minutes or 15 minutes away. Then we're going to head down to the interstate. So probably around 10 o'clock, I would say. Let's see. Kim fixes things at Jim's Fastback Garage. Good times. Yeah. Well, he's got a great LTD, actually, that I think is cool. His got a big block in it. So he's leaving Thursday afternoon when my wife gets home. Okay, so you're going to leave Thursday afternoon, so we'll see you Friday then, probably, most likely. Because he lives pretty far north of me, so but he'll have interstate most of the way, I would say, so you can make good time. I won't be able to drive fast on the interstate because, of this. I don't like to drive the old truck over there. I mean, when we went to Kansas, we drove some on the interstate, and I just, 60, 65 was the max I drove. It'll go faster, but, that old engine's worn out, and, well, it's got a new timing chain and stuff in it, but, I mean, it's just, it's old, the compression's low, and it just burns more gas, or more oil. Jim's Fastback, it's also a hardtop. Yeah, so you can get parts for yours. See, that's what's good. It's amazing. Even so you would think things wouldn't be different on those. For example, the spindle on that 76 I had was different than the 76 hardtop. Why? It was built on the Cougar frame, where the mine was built on the Ranchero frame. I guess, depended on the plant, and that's the parts they used. I don't know. But mine was extremely hard. I did find a new windshield, actually, for that car. It was over in some other country like Finland. I don't know, something like that. And I could get it and have it delivered to the glass company here locally. So they would have put it in for me. But it was $1,700. Well, the car wasn't worth that. So I wasn't going to do that. But if you watch the video, they built me a glass out. They took a hardtop glass and they cut it to make it fit, because the four-door post and station wagon body style, the windshield, instead of slanting back like this, it stands up higher, and then it doesn't have that slope at the top, so they had to cut all that off. So, yeah, but we had a windshield. So, well, anyway, okay, now I've been on here an hour and 35 minutes. I keep saying I'm going to head out. I think I'm going to end it right here. Thanks for everybody for watching, and thanks for everybody supporting our channel. And I say ours because Eric's in on this too sometimes, and He's not here today. He's working, or I assume it's not quite time for him to go to work, but he's probably getting ready to go to work. So anyway, again, thank you to everybody. And as always, we're making it just like brand used here, baby.